Hi, welcome to this part of my guide and review of the FlexTale Solo Adventuring Toolkit. If you haven't seen the other parts of my guide and review, please check out the playlist in the description below. This time we are going to talk about slay quests. These are pretty straightforward. You need to kill one or more creatures. Perhaps you need to assassinate a non-player character, or maybe there are a group of creatures, perhaps pests or an infestation. You know, the typical RPG classic beginning quest of slay this number of giant rats that are in the cellar, and then you obtain a reward. So in this case, you have tables to determine the purpose variability. Like I said, maybe you need to assassinate someone, or maybe you need to collect trophies from the creatures that you eliminate. You can also determine the purpose and the prototype of the quest. Maybe it's a distant target or a protected target. Perhaps it's someone quite influential and with resources, and you need to take care of the guards first, or any sort of group or organization that are protecting the target. You can use all of these tables to add variability to every aspect of the quest. The number of clues that you gather throughout the quests, perhaps related to other quests, other targets, other plotlines. Perhaps during the hunt, during this slay quest, you need to eliminate reinforcements. Maybe this enemy, this creature, whatever, calls upon vampire spawn or underlings if you are hunting a vampire. Or perhaps you are slaying someone that is quite slippery. Maybe this turns into a chase quest later on. You can also determine the rewards and the penalties for accomplishing or failing that quest. Perhaps you obtain material rewards, some sort of object, or perhaps currency, some money because of the mission. Perhaps you were hired for that. Or maybe you encounter some treasure, you find some valuables after you finish your target. Maybe you get a social penalty. Maybe by killing this target, you get into some trouble with a faction or a group, or perhaps, depending on the target, an entire region. And perhaps the rewards are magical. Maybe the target has some sort of magical effect upon him or her, and by killing the target, you gain access or the right to wear that sort of magical force field or mantle instead. Maybe it's something that can only be passed after you kill the one who had it before. Or maybe if you are unlucky, you end up getting lost while looking for that target to slay. You can also determine the urgency. Maybe you need to take care of the target right away because this target usually is holed up in a base or in some sort of bunker and only rarely goes outside, and now is your chance to slay that target. Or perhaps you can take care of the target at your leisure because the target is not very strict about where he or she is walking about. You can also determine the stakes. Maybe eliminating this target is a matter of life or death. Maybe the target is trying to cause some war between two nations. Or perhaps the stakes are medium. Maybe it's a monster that is killing some travelers, but only if they approach a certain zone. You can also determine the pace of the quest. Maybe it's somewhat of a passive affair. You need to wait for your target at a certain place, a village, a building, and then you strike. Or maybe it's an urgent pace. Perhaps you can attack your target when the target is moving from one vehicle to another. Perhaps the target is switching boats or some sort of starship if it's a sci-fi campaign, and that's the moment where you need to hurry up and strike. You can also determine how this quest relates to other quests, existing quests or affairs that are going to start as soon as you complete the slaying. Perhaps by killing a non-player character, a new quest line begins. Or maybe this quest is related to something that you have solved before, and it connects different points of the plotline together. Perhaps after examining the corpse of your prey, you realize that you killed someone else before, or you captured someone else, and they all share this sort of insignia, symbol, some sort of ring perhaps that connects them to an evil group. And this concludes this part of the review. In the next part, we are going to talk about the templates of the slay quest. I think that slay quests are pretty bread and butter when it comes to all role-playing games. Only those RPGs where there is little to no combat will have an absence of slay quests, but every RPG that has a system for combat is obviously going to lend itself to these slay quests. And although, like I said, they are pretty straightforward, perhaps even simple, with the templates you can add some nuances, some complexity to a single slay quest. Perhaps the undertaking, the hunt, is going to be a bit more layered or stratified when compared to your normal slay quest. You can surprise the party of adventurers like that. Maybe a slay quest is just that, a simple slay quest, and suddenly the next slay quest has to do with other quests, perhaps a chase quest, or maybe now it turns into a deliver the object sort of quest. Perhaps your target was carrying something quite valuable. Maybe you are playing an Indiana Jones sort of adventure, and after eliminating your target, you realize that your victim was carrying an object that belongs in a museum. Thank you for watching this part of the review. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know. And thank you so much to those of you that have been supporting the channel by sending drive-thru RPG gift certificates. If anyone else wants to further support the channel, the information on how to do that will be in the description below. Once again, thank you, and see you later.